Hi team, Adam Cogan here from SSW TV. Welcome to the tech news for the month of July 2021. Let's get straight into it. And the biggest news of the month was GitHub Copilot. This is a pretty phenomenal announcement. Basically, you can get your code written without writing code. So let's take a look at how this can work. It is pretty phenomenal, might blow your brains, but let's have a look. We're just going to write a little comment here, and I'll just press replay here. Determine whether the sentiment of text is positive and use a web service. Plonk, the code just goes in. It is hard to believe this can really happen. What is happening here? Well, it knows that you want to write a function where you'll pass in some text and return whether that is, whether the writer is positive or they're speaking negatively. It's going off to textprocessing.com and it's giving you your answer, even if you don't know how to write any code. So, where is it getting the code from, firstly? Now, essentially, it's scanning GitHub. It's taking all the open source contributions in GitHub and it's working out what type of code people most write when they're wanting to write a function like that. And it puts it in there, and as you can see, it's using textprocessing.com. It will give you some other alternatives. Let's just say you would like to use Azure Cognitive Services. It would plonk that code in there as well. It even gets better because it looks at your style of coding as well. So it goes to GitHub, grabs the code, and then reformats it in the style that you would like it to be in, or as you write code. So this is pretty phenomenal. This is a step above what we do today, which is we write code. When we don't know something, we jump over to Stack Overflow, find it, copy, paste, fix it all up, make it work, test it, plonk it in there. Obviously, there's some downsides to this you can end up with the odd two-headed beast today, and you have to fix up a whole lot of copy and paste coding. I don't know what is going to transpire from this, so we might end up with multi-headed beasts to clean up from coders, but this is a big step forward. How much time is this going to save you? In addition, every time you go over to Stack Overflow and do a search, it's not hard for you to become distracted. So I reckon possibly the best thing about this is that you stay focused. By the way, there was a funny incident because it's only just come out and people are using it for the first time in the last few days, where it was, say you're using SendGrid, it was copying other people's code, but some people don't write the best code and they put their secrets in their own code and then they commit it to GitHub. Now other people's secrets were coming into your code. Anyway, don't worry, they've patched that bug, but that was quite funny. So let's move on to the next piece of news. I think it was worthwhile. Visual Studio 2022. This is big news. We haven't had a Visual Studio for a little while. The best part about it is obviously it's now 64-bit, not 32-bit, so bigger solutions are going to load a lot faster, so that's really good. There is IntelliCode as well. Now, IntelliCode is a little bit like what I just told you in Copilot, but it is much more sedate. First of all, it's enterprise friendly because it's not just copying some open source code which has other implications inside an enterprise. They don't want those licensing requirements. It gives you code. It also will put these little light bulbs everywhere and give you suggestions on refactoring your code so your code is consistent with yourself. So obviously this one is a lot more performant and they talk about that. They give you lots of examples as well. I might just have a look at some of these preview notes. There is lots of debugging stuff here, productivity stuff, and you can have a look at this, but there's razor changes, hot reload, which is essential for productivity. And have we got anything else? Different icons. And yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. So let's move on to Windows 11. Windows 11, I showed my daughter this and her first comment was, it looks a lot like a Mac. That might be true with the centered taskbar. I do like the feel of this. See these windows here? When you when you're snapping things, you can snap. We've only had this in the past, these two. But now we have multiples, so you can snap in threes or there's many different grids, so that's a lot nicer. In addition, one of the nice things we've noticed is when you are setting up your multi-monitors and you put this window over there and that one over there, and then you disconnect to go home and come back in the morning, you plug it in again and you have to do the same thing. Now it remembers, you connect in the morning, it just plonks them all up. So that's a much nicer approach, much nicer approach. And the other thing we noticed from last month is we had a whole lot of rumors that saying that Windows 11 was going to be its code name. We weren't sure about that, but that became a reality. So that was awesome. There's also a little keystroke that Matt Wicks was telling me about, Windows Z, and that pops up all the different configurations that you can have for your Windows. So I thought that was quite nice. And there's one other thing. Emojis. So the Windows dot is phenomenal now. It's super cool. It's got heaps and heaps of more options and GIFs as well. So let's move on to the next piece of news, and that is Windows 365. This is for enterprises really, and you can have your BYOD device that you take home. It's your device. And connect onto the corporate system. You get essentially an Azure VM, and it's on the domain. And I guess the first thing you're going to notice is the internet is blindingly fast because it's up in the Azure data center. So this is potentially going to be the next best thing for sysadmins to provision machines. So it should be pretty nice. I think that is great news. Next piece of news. Thought this was interesting, coming from JK up in Brisbane. They now have these robot waiters. You can see that they've got these little robots inside this restaurant. It's worth visiting the restaurant just to get your food delivered by a robot. Moving on, something similar happened over in Houston, America, where Domino's have started delivering pizzas by these little on-road robots. So these little guys are going around and delivering pizzas. Pretty cool, hey? I will also tell you that we now have these deepfake videos that have a watermark. So, when people make a fake video, you can put a watermark on it. I'm not sure whether this solves much of the problem with deepfakes, because obviously a lot of people that are making deepfakes are there to trick you. And if they're trying to trick you, they're not going to put the watermark on it. So, but anyway, that is happening with deep fakes that you want to advertise, like a parody, what is going on. Moving on, I really like this. I have a lot of troubles every time I enter SSW. It's a fingerprint down. Maybe my fingerprint has worn out, or maybe I don't have veins underneath that it can see. But I like this Amazon One's palm scanning payments where they're scanning your palm instead of your finger. I think that's quite cool. One thing that is possibly a bit scary, Amazon getting all this biometric data of you. You might say, well, Apple have been getting our face, but Face ID is storing your face on the device. It's not going up to Apple. So it's a bit of a difference there. Now, this one, I saw this transparent solar panels and I think, wow, that is awesome being transparent. First of all, we can put it on all our windows of our house or a building, and we're collecting nice solar energy. In addition, I had the problem with my wife. For some reason, she thinks that solar panels on a roof are ugly, and I've been struggling to talk her into doing that. Of course, the Tesla tiles are awesome, but they haven't come to Australia. So what I could do is just get these solar panels, these transparent ones, and I'd be collecting energy. I don't even have to tell her. So that'd be fantastic. So finishing off, we got a couple of nice releases on SSW TV and a few new videos up there. I particularly like this one here with Piers Sinclair, where he was, he's a traditional .NET developer, and he's talking about extending Dynamics CRM using a PCF control. So that's a nice little video, and there's plenty of other ones. If you want to do something more in live, we have some events coming up. Probably one of the best events coming up is NDC in Melbourne. That is going to be pretty awesome. And we also have Angular Hack Days, and this one should be good. So hopefully you've really enjoyed the tech news for tonight. I'd love to know what you thought, what the coolest news was we had. Post it in the comments, and of course tell us if there's anything new. And I will see you for the tech news next month.